Hey everybody, Mrs. Peterson here, and this is for graphic design. I'm going to show you how to start creating your quarter page ad. We're going to design in Photopea, but if you're in Photoshop, this will all be the same. You have a lot more options in Photoshop, but I made sure that people who are not at home, not at school, are able to get Photoshop are able to do this assignment. So, excuse me, the first thing that I want to show you is I've logged into Photopea. I'm going to give you these directions in print as well if you want to follow along. First thing would be to watch this video or watch this video as you're looking at the paper that I sent you. So when you see me glancing, I'm just making sure I'm following along. So I'm going to go ahead, file, and I'm going to start a new document. And the first thing I want to do is I want to name it. So right here where it says new project, you got to do that first or you'll forget. So it'll be first and last name, not mine, but yours. And then dot quarter page ad, because we're going to start with the quarter page ad for the yearbook. And then we're going to make sure that the dimensions are not in pixels, but millimeters. And we're going to do 128 millimeters by 168. 168 millimeters. Okay, that's basically 12 centimeters by 16 centimeters. Our yearbook's actually in inches, but I found that this was the closest to the size we need. Now we're going to do print. So instead of 72, we want 300 DPI here, dots per inch, right? Make sure you click this. And then we're going to go ahead and create. So when we create, oh, I said a white background. Now you're not going to have this on here because last time I was on, I guess it remembers that it's me. I'm going to show you how to get all this, okay? Once it's open, you're going to duplicate your background. So Command J or Control J, depending on what kind of computer you're using. And then you're going to go to View up here, and you're going to do three things. First, you're going to make sure that Extras is on, right? So View Extras, and you're going to see that I have some extras. You're also going to do View Rulers. You want to make sure your rulers are on. So it remembers me, all right? So you want to make sure that rulers are on. And then the last thing is you're going to View, and you're going to do Snap to Grids and Guides, okay? These are fine, but you need to make sure those two are on, right? So once I do that, I'm going to save the document. Now it's saving it on the internet right now, but if you have trouble, at least you have this part saved. So I'm going to go File, Save as a Photoshop document. Always save as a Photoshop document. That way you can keep your layers. And then when you're finished, that's when you save as a JPEG. Okay. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this ruler up here, and I'm going to double click it. And this is going to come up preferences. Okay. And I want guides checked. I want grids checked. I want it to be a square, and I want it 1 centimeter. And I want this measurement in millimeters, not centimeters. Right. And obviously mine remembered this because I practiced before I made this recording. And these are the settings that you want. I even took a screenshot of that for you. And then when you're finished, you'll have this grid, okay? The next thing that we're gonna do is we're going to grab our guides. Now we can we can add a guide, which is right here, View, Add Guides. But what I found is that it only lets you add 2 guides. So on Photoshop, you can actually type in where you want those guides to you. You'd say add guides, and then you would, here, these are the only two that let you do here, but in Photoshop, you can add the guide at the place that you want it, which would be, you know, about 5 millimeters in, 4 or 5. And you can do all of your horizontal and you can do your vertical. But I found in Photopea, the easiest way to do would be go up to the ruler and drag it down. And this is a whole centimeter here. So I want about half of that. So if you look, it says 5.1 millimeters. That's as close probably to that I'm going to get to 5. Here's 4.1, here's 4.7, here's 5.1. I'm going to try to get that 5.1 there. And now I'm going to bring it to the other side, right? So 28 minus 5 is 27, 26, 25. Oh, no, that's not quite right. That's probably better. Yeah. Now we're looking at trying to get them even, and then I'm going to drag one down to the bottom. And what I'm looking for is a square in the corner here. So here's a square here, here's a square here. This one isn't quite a square. I'm going to move it over a little bit more to make it look like a square in the corner there. I'm looking at the bottom corner right now, trying to get that to be a square. Not quite. I think I'll go ahead and move from the bottom so I can look at the top. That's not bad. All right. So now that I have those, I'm going to do a center. So this is 128. So half of 120 is 60, and half of 8 is 4. So 64 would be halfway. And then this is 168. So half of 160 is 8, and half of 8 is 4. So 79.9 plus 4, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, about 84. If we can get there, 81, 84. I'm going to make that my half. Now, once I have those are just guides. The outside is just reminding me that I don't want necessarily, well, I definitely don't want any words up here, okay, because they might get cut off on the page. I don't necessarily want a picture up there, although I can put a picture up there if the top of it isn't going to cut off somebody's face or something like that. But those guides are reminders to you to be aware of that space. And this guide in the middle is just kind of helping you how to work on your space. Now there's 3 requirements for this ad. Well, 4. You're going to have to pick a background. Right now, the only background I have is the neutral background, but probably by some time in the next day or 2, I'll have the background in 10 colors available to you. And so what I would suggest is look at the pictures that you're using, and then from those pictures, pick a background. Today, we're just going to use the neutral background, and these backgrounds go with all the other backgrounds in the yearbook. So that's why we're keeping it that way. So we have a background. That's one requirement. We have 3 to 4 photos on this. This is the quarter page, 3 to 4. So if you want to make it with 3, or if you want to make it with 4, it's up to you. It depends on what the client gives us. So if the client gives us 2 pictures, then you're going to want to spotlight one of those really big pictures and make it bigger. If they give you 4 pictures, then you're going to have to find a way to make those look good. Plus, they're going to give us the student's name, that'll be on there, and then a quote or a word from your parents. And you've got to get all that on. So I'm going to show you one more thing here, and that is how to add a layer. So in Google Classroom is the document. So I'm going to do File, Open. Mine is on my desktop. So it says Map Background Natural, but I'll have other ones for you. So I'm choosing that for upload. And this is it on another document, okay? So it's 400 millimeters, and mine is Mine is 120. So this is a really huge piece of a map. So I just want to remember that, because when I drop it into my other page, it's going to look strange. So I'm going to have to shrink it. So I'm going to go to the rectangular selection tool, and I'm going to go ahead and grab that, just the whole document. There we go. Command C or Control C, depending on what kind of computer you're on. I'm going to go back over to mine. Now watch this. I want to make this smaller first, so give it on the negative. If you're in Photoshop, you can just do scrubby zoom. So see how I made this super small? Because watch what happens. I'm going to go back up here, and I'm going to Command V or Control V and drop it in. Now it looks like it's fit, but watch what happens when I grab this right here. On this layer, I'm going to pick Control T. For either one, you have to pick Control T. That's the size of it. So we actually want to shrink this down, but we want to keep the dimensions. So we're going to click on these 3 lines, and we're just going to shrink it down so it fits the size of my, and it is changing dimensions. That should do it. There we go. Huh, interesting. Then I can move it on there. Okay, so I'm going to try to get it on there. And I'm pretty close, so I can go ahead and make it larger. On this one, I can't do scrubby zoom. I just have to click, 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 click. Okay, and so since our theme is nautical, we've got this map in the background, okay? So I'm gonna go back up here and check it. Control T, you can only do Control T. Look, I did pretty well. I think I'll move that up. The only reason I like that is if you notice around the outside, it's kind of a darker edge. So it's worth it to try to make that work for that one anyway. I think the ones that you guys might be bringing up are going to be more of a landscape size, so you can pick and choose where you want to put that in. Now that I have this, you guys, it's going to be similar to when you made your magazine spread and you're going to design where you're going to put those pictures and those words. So again, you're planning for 3 or 4 photos, the person's name, and some sort of quote information that's going to be given to us. So I'll give you that information for you to practice with. All right. And that's my tutorial for now. Let me know if you have any questions. Looking forward to seeing what you have. This is due at the end of the day so that we can actually start putting them in the yearbook with the information that's coming in from the different seniors. Their parents are sending in the ads, and you guys will actually be designing for the yearbook. Okay. All right. Love you. Miss you already. Go out and change your world for the better. Bye now.